Brand new season delivers a fresh beginning in USL Championship starting in South Florida here tonight. Eastern Conference foes seek up in match number 1 with Miami FC squaring up with Detroit City. Good evening to all, wherever you may be, with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm David Gascon. Thanks for joining us here. Ricky, new personnel across the board, and that includes the leader for Miami FC here in 2025.
No bigger than Gaston Mazzoni, who's had success at every stop of his career in Argentina, whether it was with the youth, but now you go into the top flight of the Argentinian football. He's a coach that wants to implement an attacking style, so expect this Miami FC side to take chances, especially in the final third.
Boy, he has his hands full. You look at what the body of work was for Miami last year. That's right, they registered 3 wins all of 2024. The biggest problem was in the back line.
Miami FC struggled with their identity all over the field, a team that conceded 89 times. And how do you fix that? You go out and you go get experienced players. Sebastian Blanco will be our best player, presented by David Gandy Wellware. He's a player that can do a little bit of everything. Beat you 1v1, he can find that final pass. Sebastian Blanco needs to be massive for Miami FC if they have any success this season.
In the Eastern Conference, you always hear about Lou City, you hear about Pittsburgh, but Detroit, they've had a lot of success throughout the years, and they have a lot of continuity, don't they?
Detroit is a team that is organized. They're difficult to break down. Their box defending is their top priority, and they do not lose their individual markers, especially in the back. But you have to give credit to Danny Dichio, the head coach, because he had a fantastic offseason. Not only did they get players that had a lot of success, but talented players, and they knew how to win in USL Championship. Sebastian Guenzaldi and Jay Chapman, 2 marquee signings.
Yeah, Nate Steinwasser, though, he called it a career after last season. We'll see what kind of impact that does have for Detroit here in 2025. Detroit has won the last 3 matchups against Miami. We'll see if that winning streak continues here tonight. Coming up on their side, we'll get you the starting 11 and first touch. It's Miami FC and Detroit City coming up next.
Some people think Miami is just flamingos and palm trees.
And hell yes, we have badass sunsets.
But Miami's Little Havana,
Doral,
Little Haiti,
Hialeah,
Wynwood, Coconut Grove,
Kendall,
Calle Ocho, Sweetwater, Homestead,
cortaditos y coladas
empanadas y croquetas.
is so much more. This is the 305.
This is who we really are. This is what we are all about.
I am Latino.
I'm a disruptor.
I am LGBTQ.
I am a villain.
I am a mother.
I am Haitian.
I am an athlete.
I am an activist.
I am a king.
I am American Dream.
I am the future.
I am
Miami
FC.
Some people think Miami is just flamingos and palm trees.
And hell yes, we have badass sunsets.
But Miami's Little Havana,
Doral,
Little Haiti,
Hialeah,
Wynwood, Coconut Grove,
Kendall.
No one was born a hero. It's an everyday journey. There are no shortcuts, no days off, no perfect scenarios. Things won't always go the way you expect. But overcoming challenges is part of the game too. Your time is now. When passion runs through you, become your own hero.
At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, you don't have to be a pro athlete to be treated like one. We use the latest techniques to give you an...
The broadcast is brought to you by Doral Kia. Drive for less, drive Doral. Bon Bon Boom. Macron, become your own hero. And Baptist Health. Back here in between the pipes.
And again, it's going to be a Saldana, a player that has had success, who's very comfortable with his 2 center backs in front of him, Wheat and Carroll, a team that is very good in the back, very compact in their structure. But my eyes go to that middle 3. You want Jay Chapman to get on the ball early and often, because if he does, now you afford Morris and Williams to be expansive in nature and to supply Smith, who's spearheading the attack.
Miami last season, they had 3 victories all of 2024, and the biggest reason for that is they could not do anything on the road. They were the only team in USL Championship failing to register a victory on the road. They were 0-16-1. Their 3 victories, oddly enough, one of them came at the hands of the USL champions last year in Colorado Springs. So, you know, Ricky, you can only go up from here. And obviously, brand new season, and these guys are looking to get things underway. Pitch conditions tonight, 78 degrees right now as this match officially underway. Detroit rolling from left to right on your screen. Miami FC in their home kits, the 1896 kit. They're moving from right to left. Do you like the new look?
Fresh.
Yes.
Good. Clean.
Of course you would like it. That's a bad question for me to ask out of the gate. Got a brief moment. Take a look at the keys to tonight's contest presented by Doral Kia. Drive for less, drive Doral. What do we got, Ricky?
Touched on it earlier for this Miami FC side with so many new faces. You want to play yourself into this game. You do not want to take risks so early on. Get comfortable because as Detroit, Danny Dicchio, they want to dictate tempo. Jay Chapman, Cedeno, 2 players that have had success. They need to get on the ball early and often for the visiting side.
Alan Gavilanes was one of the bigger and brighter spots opened up the year last year for Miami FC, but he tapered off as the season went along. Frankie Lopez led the club in scoring, but he's no longer with the organization. Gavilanes does return though. Quick break though for Blanco. We got a possible 2-on-1 here. Blanco with the left foot, doesn't get a lot on an easy save by Saldana. That's how the year begins. Oddly enough, Ricky, that was eerily similar to how last season began. Miami had this interesting nature about them opening up a first or second half. They would score goals quickly, but after that, things kind of just fell apart at the seams. Saldana, though, with a great look from just inside the 18.
Already 2 minutes in, David, you see what Gaston Modoni is trying to do with this Miami FC side. He wants players to be attack-minded. He wants players to try to corral the ball and force turnovers higher up the field. 2 minutes in. Good start for the home side.
Melissa Nichols, our lead official tonight. Brian Marshall, Brent Regal, silent officials.
Doral Kia is loaded with over 500 new Kia models in stock now. Test drive a new 25 Kia Sportage today. Doral Kia. Drive for less. Drive Doral.
Detroit last year, for all their success, they're in the Eastern Conference. Upset, though, in the postseason by Tampa Bay. Got eliminated in penalties. That was a head-scratcher. Although one could say what they did 2 years prior, though, upsetting Pittsburgh, the top seed in the Eastern Conference. In fact, grabbing the Players' Shield. 8 seed versus a 1 seed. They pulled off the upset a couple years ago. So the give and the get. USL Championship power rankings were released earlier to begin the season, and as you'd imagine, Miami at the bottom, they have a long road to work through. But different personnel bring some different energy, and as we talked about last year, Ricky, you have a lot of guys that are not playing for today. They're also playing to secure contracts for years on end.
It's going to be really interesting for this Miami FC side to see how do you blend the new faces, but also players that have had success at every stop of their career. Number 10, Sebastian Blanco, bottom of your screen. He's going to be the catalyst of everything going forward for Miami FC. He needs to be really clever with his relationship with Lucas Milano, another player that was very influential at MLS. Look for them to be expansive in nature and really test this back line of Detroit.
Yeah, it's one of the things that this new coaching staff wants to do with the opposition is have them play on the back end a whole lot more than on the front foot. Last season, it was more about the opposition holding a healthy amount of possession against Miami FC, usually to the tune of 2-1 on minutes. Miami had a lot of things go against them last year. A young group, only had a handful of veteran type of players. They scored 25 goals last season, but as Ricky had mentioned, conceding 89. Did not have a lot of continuity between the sticks. Defense was good at times. But there were breakdowns, there were challenges in the middle of the park, and at the end of the day, New personnel, new coaching staff, washing things away and restarting. Not that they're in the same boat, but Detroit doing some different things this year. Be curious to see how quickly Detroit does gel. For a veteran group, though, at least the coaching staff, do you give them, what, 2-3 weeks max?
Ezekiel has had a lot of experience with this side, especially the two center backs, which 6 minutes in have given the ball over quite cheaply, trying to play out of the back.
Gavilanes, poor delivery, he acknowledges as much. Allen does look like he lost a little bit of weight, perhaps coming in, working harder in the offseason, but you had the beginning of the year where he had a lot of jump to his game, had a lot of power in his shots, and did feel like he tapered on as the season went along. Got to imagine a lot of that was pressure and just the defensive presence of the opposition closing the gap on him, not giving him a lot of real estate.
That's why I think the signing of Sebastian Blanco is going to be so massive, because now Alan Gavilanes can look at him and draw some inspiration on not only how he occupies areas on the field, but what he does off the field. Right, Sebastian Blanco, like he mentioning the number 10, he wears number 10 for a reason. So if you are Gaston Modoni, get him on the ball early and often.
Danny Dichio returns for Detroit. Mentioned the open of the show, Maxi Rodriguez. He's gone. Nate Steinwasser has departed. He called it a career. Certain guys and certain kits you're accustomed to, and now all of a sudden it's a changing of the guard. For better or for worse, we'll find out. Williams peels it back to Bryant. Match just underway. We're in the 7th minute. Best chance so far had been from Blanco, just inside the 18, but didn't get a lot of velocity in his left-footed shot. So Danya with an easy stop, ranging from right to left. Teams have been busy in the offseason, a little preseason activity, and it's always good to now see some real fire, real competition. Detroit with their first look. Williams open on the right-hand side. He's got it now. Williams, good double team emerging quickly on it. Good intercept. Bolu Akinyoti picking it off, and back comes Miami FC. Detroit not playing on the front foot so far. Major chances just yet from Detroit. Ford, this will stay with Detroit. Welcome everyone to the 2025 USL Kickoff presented by Terminix. Throughout the month of March, the USL will be kicking off across the country. Join us for all the action on ESPN and CBS Sports platforms.
Really interesting acquisition as well for Miami FC. Bolu Akinyoti. He's a player that spent a lot of time in the middle of the park as a center midfielder, but now he drops a line deeper. Him and Knudsen, that relationship needs to be top class to try to maintain a defensive structure. But Bolu is a player that is comfortable with the ball at his feet, so look for him to break lines with passing when building out.
Rodriguez was thrown into the fire last year in the middle of the season for Miami FC. Got the attention of teammates that have come and gone. Pretty good collision there near midfield. Looks like it's going to go against Miami though, and Blanco not happy with the ruling. Take a peek at this again. Now our lead official, Melissa Nichols, calling for the training staff to come out to the field.
It's been awkward coming together. I'll say what, I don't see much in that whatsoever. Ricardo gets the initial action, there's no extension of the arm whatsoever. You see the captain, Sebastian Blanco, giving an earful to our center referee, Alyssa Nichols, but I'll tell you what, David, she does a really good job. A head injury, you have to stop the play immediately.
Interesting sequence of how that was broken down, to your point too, Ricky. Stops any kind of transition game for Miami FC. It looks like no harm, no foul. Mercado's good. Mercado, Blanco, quickly working. Gavilanes feels a little bit of the pressure.
Notice when Miami FC recover the ball, they quickly shift into a 3-back system. So you have Akinyoti as this left center back. Now you have Knudsen center back and Ricketts at the right side. So that affords Metrano to be a little bit more aggressive on this near side, creating a little bit of an overload for Miami FC. So a nice little tactical wrinkle by Gaston Madoni, the head coach.
Don't imagine we'll see a lot of Miami FC playing through the back this year, do you? That was a staple to their game last year, and it's quite the challenge in many of nights. Patient with Detroit. A lot of activity just yet. Williams, though, sprung free on the outside. Let's see if he does get it back. Quick stop and hesitation, but Bolu there holding his ground. Losing his footing for a minute, but able to draw that foul. A little bit of contact. Daniel there, mixing it up.
Just see the type of player that Jay Chapman can be for Detroit City. Change your point of attack, and now you allow Reese Williams to be more aggressive and really test Bolo Akinyoti, who does it quite well at staying his feet, picking the pocket of Cedeno.
Lots of action tonight throughout USL Championship. When we get to the break, we'll have stats, we'll have highlights, we'll take a look around USL Championship, also some brief news and notes, maybe a couple other things as well. Pretty much opened up, free flowing, and now it is stuttered quite a bit. Some decent touch fouls being called, but nevertheless, no real flow either way. Interesting curve here. Defense getting back though for Miami. Morris played this thing back. Easy shot to handle for Rodriguez. Good touch early on for the keeper. His first shot, first save.
Start to see Detroit City getting into flow and understanding the spaces where they want to operate in. Polisi and Jay Chapman, as one pushes a little bit higher, the other one supplies that security a little bit deeper. So that gives you the option to go out the other way.
Match began with temperatures right around 78 degrees, and it is humid tonight, 63% humidity. Clear skies throughout the day, and a harmless turnover for Miami. Gavilanes taking his eye off the ball and goes right back to Detroit. Detroit has had their way with Miami over the last 3 matches. They have outscored Miami FC by a margin of 8. 9-1 to be exact. Blanco continues to mix it up.
Blanco's been at the thick of everything. Not much in that. This time his jump comes over the backside of Michael Bryant.
Yeah, it's more what Bryant did and not necessarily Blanco. Numbers for a moment for Detroit. Williams here. Williams careless though with that cross. No elevation on it. Easy play to manage for Knudsen. And this will stay with Miami.
Akiniote has the freedom to step into that middle third, but he needs to be really careful when he does that, because it's about the second time that he has stepped and not won the ball. So now that puts a lot of responsibility on Knudsen. Him, Ricketts, and Metrano need to be really clever as Akiniote steps in. They need to pinch and make that line of 3.
Miami trying to do this first thing they have not done in quite a while, but get on top and stay on top. They have not done that in quite a bit, especially against Eastern Conference foes. They've really had a challenging time closing out 2024. It does not continue here in 2025. Last time they beat Detroit was in 2022. Gavalanis with the left foot ricochets off of a couple defenders. Detroit in tight quarters. This thing in a harm's way. Bowler try to step up. Good presence here for Miami in the middle of the park, and Blanco again. Blanco is having a frustrating night. Would not be surprised if we see a yellow card.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. Not what you want.
Booking here in the 17th minute. I hope he gets his money's worth. It doesn't look like it though, Ricky.
Not what you want. If you are Miami FC, your captain Sebastian Blanco, not only to get a yellow card, but the way that he gets it, giving Alyssa Nichols an earful. It is a clear handball. Left arm away from his body. This is when you have to have the experience step in. If you are Sebastian Blanco.
Time and place for everything, but Blanco has been voicing his displeasure throughout this entire first half. We're only into the 18th minute. The verbal abuse renders a booking.
Really interesting opportunity here for Detroit City. Jay Chapman over the ball. Ben Morris as well. Desired location is right on that penalty mark. Really tests the decision making of Rodriguez. Try to catch the goalkeeper in no man's land.
See how this is executed. Smith at the top of the box, roaming around. Rodriguez coming out. He got two hands on it, ran over as well. He looks to be in a little bit of pain, and now, as you imagine, Blanco goes immediately to the official asking for a card.
If you pick and choose to come off of your line, you need to be really decisive. That's exactly what Felipe Rodriguez does here. Contact oncoming, teammate or not. The left arm catches Rodriguez. No ill will from Michael Bryant, but still a foul.
One way to get yourself acclimated to a new season. Might have had the wind knocked out of him. I guess the question for me, Ricky, is why not give him a yellow card? He wasn't making a play on the ball.
In my opinion, I think it would have been harsh.
Yeah.
To give him a yellow.
You're usually nicer than I am. Speaks more to the man that you are.
There you go.
So. '20th minute, each team with one opportunity so far. Saldana. And working quickly, here's Bryant. Ball just found a little bit of a seam and with some eyes. Detroit trying to build something up here. Decent amount of fans have made their way to South Florida from the Motor City. Snowbirds, perhaps. Enthusiastic fans, definitely. Rabid fans for sure. Decent numbers on the right-hand side. Williams is flanked out there wide, left all alone for a brief minute. Now the ball does come his way. Not the intent from Matrano, but here's Williams. For stability and a pretty good takeaway here for Miami. Trying to jumpstart the attack. They have not been playing on their front foot to open up this contest. Gavilanes, a little bit of real estate. Pierce through. Blanco. Gonna work to the back post. Just bad direction on that. So not easy to manage it. We'll tone things down.
21 minutes in, Detroit City unable to find any sort of rhythm with the ball at their feet. We saw glimpses of the relationship between Polisi and Chapman, the two center midfielders, but since that, Michael Bryant, Shane Wheat having a really difficult time picking passes and trying to break lines.
Possession tilted towards Detroit for the time being. That's about it. Each team with a shot on goal. Good heads-up play, no pun intended, by Knudsen. Bolu on the return to Miami this year. More than a handful of players donning the new kits of Miami FC. Williams crossed into the box, carrying around, and almost a dangerous approach for Smith. Had a step, ball just couldn't find his feet though. The sense that Detroit's growing more into this match than Miami is. Smith again trying to elevate. Bolu was there first. A harmless header to Rodriguez.
If you're Danny Dichio, you want Smith and Morris to work off one another a little bit better. Too many times when the ball goes wide, it's only one presence in around that 18-yard box. Plays into the hands of the two center backs for Miami FC, who are physically a little bit more dominant.
As a player, how long do you think it typically takes, or I guess how long did it take for you to be in top form?
Ideally, you go into game one, game fitness 100%, but that's never the case.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at maybe about the third week in the season. You start to get the rhythm in, and that's going to be a yellow card.
First one of the match for Detroit. Gavilanes is down in agony. Wincing, and it's the shoulder.
Miami FC will find success when they start on one side of the field and they end on the other, because you have Gavilanes operating on the weak side, so he's always going to provide a little bit of an outlet. On the other side of that, for Detroit City, Polisi and Chapman need to be really clever at understanding their spacing. You cannot get beat with one pass. Far too easy to be broken.
Gavilanes up front. He's okay now. First goal of the season scored by Hartford. Joe Hafferty on the board. Blanco trying to get himself on the board as well. 2 shots, neither of them with a lot of velocity though. Saldana adding to his ledger, but nothing too threatening just yet.
Nice little idea here from playing from front to back. Those two players can be really dangerous for Miami FC.
Lisi. Stop, little go. Everyone on retreat mode for Miami. Not conceding as much real estate. Twisting and turning, and that'll be a turnover going back to Miami. You mentioned how it'll probably take a couple weeks to be in top form for players. Is that more just to get acclimated to the new personnel? Or do you feel like top form just really means getting in that game mode because training is just a different kind of beast?
Game fitness, game sharpness, the mental side of the game as well. Yes, you can play as many preseason games as you want, but when you play for points, it's completely different.
Touch here, Smith asking for delivery in the middle of the pitch. Come his way. Nearly did there. Nice little break up. Detroit back to slow playing this thing. Miami right now perfectly content letting Detroit play around the perimeter. Not chasing, not being broken down, but conversely not dictating either.
Just needs to be quicker. Needs to be quicker for Detroit City. Too many times players are taking extra touches, and that plays into the hands of Miami FC. Now they can get all 11 players behind the ball and be compact in their structure.
Trying to feed Smith again to no avail. Easy throwing for Detroit. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is of every step of the way with these players, with these teams. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Chapman. Been as vocal so far. Back to Saldana. Saldana almost a dead giveaway. Away with it for a moment. Bryant, Williams. And now Miami trying to extend the pressure to no avail.
Now this is when you need to push the tempo and play very quickly. Exactly what I'm talking about, David. Now you play negative, and notice all the players in a white jersey. All 11 players deep into their defensive third. Going to be really difficult to break things down now.
Speaking of breaking things down, possible outside Rodriguez, who came out to challenge. That play is broken up in the last minute in a fine play. Looks like Matrano was there with the right foot.
It's the best action that we've seen from Detroit City. You play centrally and you bait one of the two center backs out of their position. Just the timing a tad bit offside. As we see Smith a yard behind Knutson.
And Ricky, back to your point though, Detroit not playing with a sense of urgency when they had clear real estate after Miami perhaps did extend too much to cause a turnover.
And if you're going to be methodical in the way that you approach and progress the ball high up the field, that's fine. But the combination play needs to be quick, it needs to be crisp. Because I continue to mention how aggressive Knutson and Akinyote are at that two center backs position. So if you are Smith, Morris, and Daniel Williams, you pull one of them out of position, other one operates an and occupies the space that was vacated. Now you start to see a situation just like this. Yellow cards coming in. Players are late to rotate over. As we see Romero going to the book for Miami FC.
Yeah, in the 30th minute. So it's a couple of yellow cards now for Miami. Romero and Blanco. 3 total in this contest. Nice move, Cedeno here with some space. Cedeno, double team and a triple team comes. Williams with that shot, it goes off of Bolu. That'll be a corner kick, the first one of the contest for Detroit. Good look for the visitors.
Right side of your screen, I want you to see how aggressive Bolu Akinyoti is when he steps out, and really clever from Cedeno. Now he occupies that space that was vacated. So if you are Miami FC, Metrano, and Knutson, they need to be tuned in a little bit more mentally and compact that space. But you cannot allow Cedeno to be that free about 18 yards out.
First corner of this contest for Detroit. 31st minute. Five in the box for the visitors. I'll make it 6. Line drive, a header. Oh, and it finds some twine. Crisp passing, and Bryant finishes it off in the 32nd minute. Detroit's on the board. The visitors lead 1-0.
Set pieces are a fantastic way to kickstart your attacking phase of this game. Not having success through the run of play, so you get your big bodies in around that 18-yard box and put the ball into the mixer. This is not tactics, this is not X and O's, this is pure will from Michael Bryant to get goal side and beat his individual marker to the spot. Let momentum do its thing and simply guide it into that near post. Great goal from Detroit City.
And Knutson was there, but just a little bit too late for Bryant. Detroit on the board for the first time this season. And here we go again. Visitors lead 1-0.
It's going to be frustrating to concede in that manner if you are Gaston Madoni. It's like I mentioned, that's just pure will. Not to lose your individual battles. It's a good test for the home side. 33 minutes in. What's a response now? Who's going to step up and be impactful?
Great placement on that ball, and Bryant just coming in your screen like a missile, finishing it off. Set pieces really hindered Miami FC last year. Comes back to rear its ugly head here again in 2025. That goal, pretty much the only time in this match that Miami's been vulnerable defensively. Outside of that, they haven't been in any kind of trouble. Have they held possession? No. Blanco with the chip. Idea was there, execution poor. That could be some head contact there. Mercado, he went upstairs with that contact, it looks like. Fortunate enough, doesn't have a yellow card being shown his way.
I think he gets away with one here.
Yeah.
Mercado comes to the blind side of Cedeno. The ball's gone, it's late. Should be a yellow card right in front of Alyssa Nichols. I think she misses this one.
I mean, I've seen instances where guys have been knocked out with that kind of contact. It's not how hard you get hit, it's where do you get hit. The jaw line like that, Cedeno fortunate. Mercado the same. I mean, now with 2 players on yellow. Down a goal. For Miami, they were winless in the last 19 matches when conceding a goal first. Gavilanes with the intercept. Miami holding possession for the time being. Pressure for Detroit, though. Parent Gavalanes takes that one in the breadbasket. He's down and not getting up yet. Merrill couldn't get it back. Detroit trying to push. Don't have numbers yet. Gavalanes back to his toes. Stats and highlights right around the corner at the break. We'll also have first half analysis. Take a look at the upcoming schedule on what's to come here for USL Championship in 2025. Toronto, some near in-between moments, and he just puts this one up on the sidelines. Clean match so far for Detroit. Outside of a potential breakdown early that allowed Blanco to get a shot on target. They had played a perfect road contest. Be curious to see what kind of changes come in the second half for Danny Dicchio, if any at all. Long way to go, of course. Pretty good contact and physicality in the middle of the pitch. Detroit holding on. And here they go to work. Williams just couldn't get to that in time. Spill from Toronto. He's down, not getting up.
Better from Toronto here in terms of his positioning. He starts connected with Akanyori, so now that it gives him the ability to push up and read the ball. Flawless from the outside back.
Good look real quick at Miami's 1896 kit. Tribute to the year Miami was founded. The colors of the city's flag. Chip out wide, Blanco. Ball had no lift to get to him. Williams, it's a dangerous play in the middle of the park, but he got away with it. Bolu steps up nicely. Some slight hesitation on it. I believe this is just a common foul. It should be anyway. Bryant, no, it could be a yellow card.
The right leg from Bonfilio that comes across Michael Bryant at the end of it. In my opinion, a bit soft. Question is, yellow card on Bonfilio. Mercado gets away squeaky clean.
Yeah. Bryant's okay now. So back to his toes. As we're in the 40th minute. So 3 yellows for the home side. It's living a bit dangerously.
Nice little pocket of space here.
All kinds of real estate. Now who's available? Williams is first on the touch. Williams working to the back post. No finish though for Detroit. It's a second big chance of this contest. And there's the creativity for Williams outside.
Starts with the spacing from Cedeno. Now you have the ability to play centrally, but also to spray the ball wide. Every single player in a white jersey gets caught ball watching and leaves Villanueva in acres of space. As this ball comes across, your main priority is just to run through it. Don't need to stab at it. Do not lean back. Clean contact. Keep your shoulders over the ball, and it's 2-0. What an opportunity that is missed for Detroit City.
Yeah, Villanueva not going to get a cleaner look from that side of the pitch here tonight.
But it's also defending 101 for Miami FC. When that ball goes wide, those two center backs, their hips need to be able to see the ball and runners oncoming. As you close your hips, now your vision is only on one side of the field, and that's why Villanueva is in acres of space at the weak side.
But unable to capitalize on it. Soccer season is here, fans. SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of USL Championship. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. Your tickets to great seats. Detroit back to work. Villanueva. Smith asking for delivery for a moment. Williams with the right hand up on the back post. Delivery does not come his way. Good intercept, a little bit of friendly fire. And Detroit holding serve right now. Miami just trying to get out of their own way for the time being. Blanco, a little breakdancing. Holding his footing for a minute. There was not a lot of creativity from this club last year. Lack of playmakers, and Ricky so far coming into the season, I'll be curious who that guy will be to set people up for Miami FC.
I think you look at Gavianis and you look at Sebastian Blanco. I think those are the two players that you want operating in central locations that give you the ability to find that final pass, that final ball, a little bit of creativity-ness.
A bit late. It almost looked like Alyssa Nichols was taking time, and yeah, Michael Bryant, she's showing red out of her back pocket. Wow. You gotta take a look at this because I am rather perplexed at this call, Ricky. Alyssa Nichols talking about it with Alejandro Medrano.
Just going off to the Detroit City players, it just seems like Bonfilio had his studs exposed when the ball was oncoming. As you take a second look at it here, really difficult to tell from that angle. I think it was a second action, the kick out.
That's interesting. I mean, the kick out was one thing, but
I think when the ball goes, notice what he does to Michael Bryant. There's a little bit of an extension of his right leg on the backside. I think it's not this one. Notice how he's on the floor, and it's the right leg. Continue to watch it right there. That's what gets him in trouble. Already on a yellow card, you talk about inexperience, you talk about maybe a little bit of lack of composure, frustration starting to show for Miami FC. Needs to be better. Now Detroit City, a goal up and a man up for the remainder of this game.
Wow. Bonfilio caught being a bit overzealous in his frustration. He's exiting. Off to the showers he go. Quite the way to close out a first half. 44th minute, and Detroit in control right now. Keep an eye on our fourth official to see exactly how much time we'll have for stoppage.
Great ball.
And now some vacated space. Knudsen fortunate enough to get away with one there. And Miami players that were on yellow. Detroit just trying to suck the life out of this match now. Goal would put them in a safe spot. Gavilanes here. Bolu. Completely changes the dynamic of the second half, because now you're talking about what adjustments will need to be made defensively for Miami FC.
A lot of decisions now for Gaston Modoni. Tactically, personnel-wise as well. Lucas Milano is now playing as a lone striker, going into a 4-4-1 formation. Romero pop on the right-hand side. Now you have Gavillanes and Blanco and Ricardo, the three center midfielders as well. As we see 3 minutes added here. But now if you're Danny Dichio, the head coach for Detroit City, you're saying the ball is our best friend. Have the ball circulate from left to right, tire out this Miami FC side, and when those gaps start to open up, that's when we need to penetrate, and penetrate quickly.
Michael Bryant, the difference maker so far for Detroit. His goal, the lone goal in the 31st minute. Cedeno with the assist on the corner. It's the first corner of the match for Detroit, and they executed it to perfection. Clean header by Bryant, and Rodriguez had no chance on it. Williams with a left-footed chip into the box. That was a threatening moment too. Rodriguez fortunate enough to read that play cleanly though. Quite a bit of traffic for the young keeper. He's able to fend off. Now the question is for Miami, can they hold the fort?
Talked about what it does defensively for Miami FC. In terms of their tactical approach to this game, but offensively as well, Lucas Milano, who's playing as a striker, he needs to be really good at holding up the ball and letting his teammates come up and support him. Slowing the game down, whether it is drawing fouls, hold up play, bringing players in, all of the above needs to be a little bit better from Milano.
Long ball here for Williams again, who's been active on the right side. Decent left-footed chip. Bolu in front of it. Gavillanes is opposed to keeping it down the sideline.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just give it a little bit more of an effort on that 50-50 ball.
Offside here, near side official with the flag up. Decent creativity, of course, greener pastures for Detroit now. Playing up a man. And they'll do so for the final 45, assuming nothing goes wrong for them. Polisi picked up the yellow. It's the only one for Detroit. Bonfiglio, though, with the red. His night is over with. Gavillanes with the final touch, and that'll do it for the first half. Not a lot of dramatics for Miami FC. They had a pretty decent chance. Blanco just inside the 18-yard box. His shot was easily managed, but conversely, Michael Bryant off the header, a set piece. Only goal so far. Detroit up a buck, 1-0.
It's what we expect from a Detroit City side. Very compact in the back, and they take their chances on set pieces. A lot of questions that need answers from Gaston Modoni. Really important halftime talk from the new manager.
Got some stats, got some highlights, and a whole lot more on the other side. Detroit has scored 10 goals in the last 4 matches against Miami FC. They head the locker room right now comfortably on top by a score of 1-0. Bryant doing the damage so far. Stats and highlights coming up next.
The Magic City, sparked by Julia Tuttle's vision and Henry Flagler's railroad expansion. What was once swampland, transformed into a booming city. This is 1896.
It's an everyday journey. There are no shortcuts, no days off, no perfect scenarios. Things won't always go the way you expect. But overcoming challenges is part of the game too. Your time is now. When passion runs through you, become your own hero.
At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, you don't have to be a pro athlete to be treated like one. We use the latest techniques to give you an accurate diagnosis, along with surgical and non-surgical solutions, no matter who you are. Our team of specialists will do everything to help you perform at your best again. And with personalized recovery and rehabilitation plans, you'll be back to living your life to the fullest in no time. Welcome to Pro-Level Orthopedic Care.
Back here live at Pitbull Stadium. It is halftime with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm David Gask on Detroit. Getting a goal from Michael Bryant in the 31st minute. They are on top. It stands right now. 1-0 is the tally. Got some time now to take a peek at the new kits, the new threads, Ricky. It's pretty sharp. The 1896 kit for Miami FC. It is a tribute to the year Miami was founded, and the colors of the city's flag reflects the great sense of belonging to the history and territory that Miami FC represents. This is a common thread for all kids as they look up to these professional athletes growing up in the community far and wide. It's a good look though, man.
No fan. Clean, crisp, classy. How can that translate on the field? That's going to be the question that needed an answer for Miami FC.
Yeah, the kit complete with white shorts and the orange diagonal bands on the hips and the horizontal bands on the back thigh edge. It's nice. It is a different kind of look as Miami FC beginning a brand new year here in South Florida. Speaking of that, 12 players have departed, 13 have come in. These are the key additions here for Miami FC in 2025.
Obviously, you look at players that have had success not only in USL Championship, but in MLS. Sebastian Blanco with the Portland Timbers, Phil Hamid, U.S. International with DC United, Jonathan Ricketts, Tulu, Bolu, who's already played for Miami FC. So they did a really good job at bringing experienced players and talented players as well. And make no mistake about it, 10 players playing in the U.S. for the first time. So how do you get in rhythm and how do you get comfortable with what USL is all about?
Yeah, it's the settings here of Miami that are just completely different as well. Conversely, for Detroit, they're also bringing in some new personnel. I know that we had mentioned the open, the departure of Steinwasser and Rodriguez, but all in all, it's not like they're playing with a short deck.
Yeah, they brought also very talented players in their own right. Maury Donor, he was fantastic at Monterey Bay, the way that he worked up and down that right-hand side. So I think he's going to have a big say for Detroit City, but my eyes, again, go to Jay Chapman. If you can get Jay Chapman playing at his top level, watch out for Detroit City.
Yeah, they will be a force here in the Eastern Conference and could be one of the elite teams throughout USL Championship here this season. We got some stats, we got some highlights, got more things to chew on here on the other side. Right now, Michael Bryant's goal is the difference maker. Detroit 1 and Miami 0.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the Tiger.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador, Spiked Bebidas. No one was born a hero. It's an everyday journey. There are no shortcuts, no days off, no perfect scenarios. Things won't always go the way you expect. But overcoming challenges is part of the game too. Your time is now. When passion runs through you, become your own hero.
And welcome back to the Macron halftime report. Detroit City on top of Miami FC. Season opener for both these sides, 1-0. And the fans looking on right now, waiting for the second half to begin. That's going to be coming up in a couple of minutes from now. Michael Bryant, the difference maker so far. Miami down a player, though. They trail, and they're also down 1. 1-0 is the tally.
The Magic City, sparked by Julia Tuttle's vision and Henry Flagler's railroad expansion. What was once swampland, transformed into a booming city. This is 1896.
Kia is loaded with over 500 new Kia models in stock now. Test drive a new 25 Kia Sportage today. Doral Kia. Drive for less. Drive Doral.
With orthopedic care, you don't have to be a pro athlete to be treated like one. We use the latest techniques to give you an accurate diagnosis, along with surgical and non.
This portion of the broadcast is brought to you by Doral Kia. Drive for less. Drive Doral. Bon Bon Boom. Macron, become your own hero. And Baptist Health. And we're back here, Pitbull Stadium. Match number 1, week number 1 for Miami SC and Detroit. As we are back in the Macron halftime report, take a look at these first half highlights in this contest. Ricky, all in all, for Miami, did pretty well, but for them, the chances came early enough and not often.
Sebastian Blanco is at the thick of everything for Miami FC. Notice the way that he predicts where this ball is going to go. He wants to hit it a little bit cleaner. Easy save in the end for Saldana, but you were expecting Miami FC to continue to grow with that momentum. In possession, they start to be expansive out of nature. Their movement was a lot better than we come to expect. And if you are Gaston Madani, that's what these two players are players that you want to get a little bit more involved. Blanco, Milano, and yet again, an easy save for the goalkeeper of Detroit City.
31st minute, the dangerous spot for Detroit to be in, and it paid off. Bryant with a clean header.
Yeah, it's a fantastic ball in from Cedeno, and Michael Bryant just needs to beat Knudsen to the spot and let it hit your head and simply guide it.
And now they're going to make some adjustments. Christian Vasquez will come into the affair. And so I guess the biggest question mark right now, Ricky, is down a player, down a goal. What kind of changes do you make if you are Miami FC?
You need to take care of the ball a little bit more. Be very clever when you pick and choose when to be direct and be progressive. And I said it earlier in that first half, Lucas Milano needs to be fantastic at playing players into this game, holding up the ball and slowing the game down. For Danny Dicchio, you're telling them the opposite. Push up the tempo, make Miami FC chase, and tire their legs out.
Gavilanes had some decent touches in the first half, but not enough for him. And we'll see exactly how Danny Dicchio and company play the second half out. They were comfortable pretty much the entire first half after that brief spurt from Blanco. Always nice when you can go on the road and play a clean half. Now they just want to duplicate it. Bolu trying to recover. Villanueva could not get to it in time. Pretty good real estate here in the middle of the pitch. Rodriguez going out with the two hands, vacates his net. Fortunate enough, it comes right back to him. Smith was there.
Gets away with one here, Felipe Rodriguez. If you elect to punch, the ball needs to be up and away. Never in a central location. Fortunate for the young goalkeeper.
So Vasquez is in for Gavilanes. 30 in for 7. And this will go right back to Detroit.
Doral Kia is loaded with over 500 new Kia models in stock now. Test drive a new 25 Kia Sportage today. Doral Kia. Drive for less. Drive Doral.
This portion of the broadcast brought to you by Doral Kia. Drive for less. Drive Doral. 48th minute as the second half has just begun. First half totals with Detroit up a goal. Each team with 3 shots, each team with 2 on target. Possession time was tilted all towards Detroit, 66% to 34. A couple yellow cards for Miami FC, of course the yellow. One corner in the first half for Detroit, and they were able to capitalize on it. The moments have been far and few for both sides, but Detroit 1 of 2 on their chances. Villanueva on that backdoor feed from Williams just couldn't capitalize, but the intent was there. And the execution just a little bit off, but I imagine Villanueva is going to see that one in replay on the plane ride home and capitalize on that as the season moves along. Miami after this has a date with Indy 11. And Detroit will stay on the road. They'll play Colorado Springs in a week from now. Detroit trying to pick up their 4th consecutive victory against Miami, and you look at the last time Miami got a W and took 3 points from Detroit back in 2022. But they have outscored Miami 10-1 last 3+ matches. Breaking down those numbers, Miami has lost or been winless, I beg your pardon, in 19 straight when conceding the first goal, but now playing down a player, it's just a tall mountain to climb. If you're Danny Dicchio, what would you change, if anything?
Control the tempo. I think that's going to be the top priority in the sense that you want the ball to do the work. You want to try to open up gaps for Miami FC, and you have to be ruthless in front of the net when you get your opportunities, because they will come. At a certain point, Miami FC is going to overextend and try to chase the game. What do you do about it? Now you want your top players to be lethal in that final third. Great ball.
Yeah, Smith out open the left-hand side for a brief moment. Little bit of real estate, some decent contact as well. Miami FC, though, able to recover. As soon as I say that, Williams with the fine play.
Just a little bit too predictable here from Reese Williams. It's 1v1 with him and Metrano. Put him on his heels, go at him, or put the ball in a dangerous area. But give credit to this left-sided defender as well. Does not leave his feet. When Reese takes that long touch, that's when he steps in.
Detroit had 15 regular season victories. A large portion of their success was because of what they did on the road. They had 8 victories on the road and also 5 draws. So the ability for a club to not only get 3 points, it feels like week in and week out when they're on the road, they're getting something out of it. It's a testament to their success. 13 to 17 matches on the road, they're getting points. It's huge. Blanco. Good hesitation, but what can he do with it? Lofty in the box. They're talking about some contact in the middle of the pitch as well. Detroit trying to counter right now. Having numbers for this second half and some decent real estate. Rodriguez a fine stop. Bolo trying to get to it first. Whistle on the stoppage. Take a look back at some of the traffic in front of Rodriguez.
When you talk about movement on the front line for Miami FC, Smith, Morris, Cedeno need to work a little bit better in terms of playing off of one another. Exactly what I'm talking about. Middle of your screen, Ben Morris, he needs to be the one that dictates this movement. Slash across that near post, because what it does, it pulls out Knudsen. That opens up a space for Smith and for Cedeno to come in trailing on your heels. Now you play into the hands of Miami FC. Moments like that can be the difference maker of going up 2-0 or having Miami FC the ability to claw back in.
Ben Morris, one of a couple players last year with double-digit goals. Detroit would love to find some lethal players to complement him this year. Inueva gingerly played that into the box, immediately removed. Perhaps the mulligan, Detroit holding it. Wheat. Fine job by Miami forcing a turnover here. Not a lot of real estate, and quickly Detroit closed the gap. Wait. Gonna have some changes again for Miami. Blanco, who's playing on a yellow. Brandon Bent's gonna come in for him.
Went down on his own power, Sebastian Blanco. Hopefully he's okay for the weeks oncoming. Now we're going to see our first look at Bent. Boy, that's going to play centrally. How quickly can he get up the tempo and be impactful?
At least one thing, if anything, let you guys off the bench and to get some quality time right now. Bent, the ripe old age of 18. A local guy too from Coral Springs. Academy a contract with Miami FC into the box. This is their first corner of the night. Matrano, high arc into the back post. Knudsen was there. Couldn't direct it towards target. One thing, if anything, for Miami, at least their spirit has woken up here in the second half. Two changes in this second half for the home side.
You have to get moving, fellas. We can't stay still.
Some decent traffic in the middle of the box, but on all Detroit holding numbers on it. Does that go off Matrano? Officials are going to say it did. Bonfilio with the red card in the first half. His night's over with. That was after the goal. It was scored by Bryant. Bryant's goal in the 31st minute. It just looks like Detroit playing a little cat and mouse. Villanueva, well, just a miss hit. But the ball does have some decent stoppage to it. Villanueva, no man's land though. Smith pounces on it. It's tied up for a brief moment. Some open real estate for Williams. Williams getting pivoted off the ball though. Bent tied up with them. Williams, pretty good moxie here. Nice jostling between two players, but Williams to win it. Same circumstance for Detroit as it was in the open half. A lot of opportunities to play the ball around the box, but no ability yet to make that proper connection. But with the lead and time on their side, they can live with it. Switch the pitch here. More movement. Morris had it, lost it. Miami trying to counter. Knudsen fortunate enough, and Rodriguez immediately coming out. And then it'll go right back to Detroit. Well, we have a moment. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157. North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM 157, the new Sirius XM app. 60th minute. In this match right now, Ricky's being played like it's week 20, and Detroit's just trying to conserve the 3 points. Are you surprised?
It's professional.
Yeah.
Professional from Detroit City. Up a man, up a goal. No need to try to force things. Once Miami FC come out of their shell and they step out a little bit, that's when you play quickly in between the lines. Watch out here.
Could have some good activity here. Morris, another bite at it. That shot just goes wide of the left bar. Morris had a couple different options.
Michael Bryant has been fantastic for Detroit City, pushing the tempo. But as this ball ricochets back over This needs to be Ben Morris. You're a striker, 18 yards out. You call off your player and have a go at it. Wrong foot, Michael Bryant goes wide, and now we'll see Diaz come in for Romero.
So another change.
Just needs to be smarter for Miami FC as well. You're down a man, you're not going to find the success within the lines. You have to play direct. You have to try to battle for second balls and win the real estate game. Too many times you're trying to play in between lines. A player has two Detroit players on their backside. Really difficult to get in any sort of rhythm. And moments like this, if you continue the momentum and play positive.
And Vasquez wanted to push it forward. Miami's back on the retreat. Vetrano. Bolu here. Only goal scored so far was by Bryant. Vasquez. And everybody back for Detroit. They do not want to concede anything cheap.
That's what we talked about in the open as well. The Detroit City side, so difficult to break down, only conceding 33 times last season. Know exactly who they want to be and what they want to do in their defensive structure.
Clinical as they are, no need to overextend offensively. And by no means are they compelled to do that here tonight. At least given the circumstances. Things could change the dynamic. The red card goes against Detroit, or Miami scores a goal. Then they might mix things up. But for the time being, just play patient. Let the clock continue to churn. Handful of substitutions for Miami FC. Nothing's been really tweaked for Detroit as of yet.
What a fantastic opportunity this could be for Detroit City as well, to try to find solutions to break through a team sitting into a mid to low block. Watch out.
Yeah, speaking of those opportunities, Smith goes down, trying to draw the eye of the official to no avail.
In a way, use it as a training mechanism here for Danny Dicchio, as we see Ori Donor and Sebastian Gonzalez coming in.
Nueva's night's over. What Donor comes in for him? Gonzalez, one of the pickups for Danny Dicchio. Donor spending time with Monterey Bay FC. Pretty clinical from the starting 11 for Detroit tonight. I wouldn't say that's been easy, but they've been what appears to be comfortable.
It's going to look a little bit different for Detroit City. We'll start with Maury Donor. The engine to work up and down that far end as a true wingback. And Sebastian Gonzalez, a true number 9. So he's going to push high. He's going to occupy Knutson and Akinyoti. So if you are Ben Morris, how can you find success underneath him, running in behind him? Same goes for Smith.
Be curious to see as this season moves along for Detroit what the starting 11 ends up being midway through the year and at the end of the season. all things considered. That's assuming they're somewhat healthy, or at least close to 100%. Nobody is. But you have those rare breaks in a season where one team just has everything go their way. That includes the health of their personnel. But Danny Diggio's got some pieces to play with. And not every team can safely say that. So 1-0 Detroit, all the damage done in the first half. Guenzati coming onto the pitch, Donor as well. To the acquisitions for Detroit here in 2025. Guenzati making his way from Indy 11. Just running out of real estate, simple as that. Was going to be staying with Detroit though on the corner.
Exactly what we talked about with Maury Donor. He's direct. He wants to get to the end line and put dangerous balls across. Really testing Alejandro Mitrano, who's been up to it the first 67 minutes here.
Second corner of this match, the header, not directly on target this time. Detroit though holding ground. 68th minute. Miami has not had a shot in this match since the 25th minute. Down a player, down a goal. Now the question is, will any offense occur for them here tonight? Well, I don't know if Detroit has anything to say about it. Donor into the box, nicely played through. Well, that ball just wiped away at the last man by Knutson. Great feed by Donor. Payoff just missed. Detroit continues to probe right now. Harsh as it is, we see another yellow card.
Talked about the marquee signing in the offseason for Detroit City, Sebastian Guenzati. It's his spacing. Knutson can't see him. Akinyori can't get to him, playing in between both center backs, just a little bit too heavy on his first touch, but already making his impact felt as we see Gerald Diaz get himself into the book.
Another yellow card for Miami FC. Rivera coming into the affair. Dylan Vernon as well. More changes. Donor just couldn't get to that ball in time. The 71st minute. Ricky, more changes for Miami. Is this more about getting minutes now?
Well, getting minutes, players taking the opportunity to prove not only to their club, but Gaston Madoni that he can count on them to fight for playing time. So yes, the odds might be against you, but now how do you control what you can't control? Your effort, your attitude. What do you do when you're on the ball making good decisions and ultimately finding a way to claw yourself back into this game?
So more changes continue for the home side. Bent, Vasquez, Diaz, Varane, all of them now in. Guanzani and Donor for the visitors. Miami's still without a shot since the 25th minute. Changing of real estate here for a moment. Rivera trying to high hurdle, could not keep possession. Ball does stay with Miami though. Vasquez for the moment, and now it's peeled all the way back. Whether you lose by a goal or two, Ricky, is there any point now in this second half that Miami chooses to overextend a bit?
I think you have to start chasing the game. If you want to get a result, if you want to start this 2025 campaign on the right foot, call yourself back, play positive, play forward. Because yes, you want to understand, you have to develop into the season. You have to develop the way that Gaston Madoni is trying to get his team to play. But winning is a part of development as well. You have to find a way to grind out results maybe when you're not playing your best football.
See if that means anything here. No, everyone back for Detroit with the numbers and holding possession. Vasquez. Good recovery for a minute. That ball ricocheting around, goes right back to Detroit. Fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play, so download it now. Once we've reached full time, we'll have a post-game show with some stats, highlights. Some brief thoughts before we bid adieu till next week. Long season and lots of things to chew on. I guess one thing, if anything, so far for Miami, Ricky, is the physicality probably needs to be toned down just a little bit.
The mental side of it, getting a little bit overzealous at times and going into challenges a little bit too eager.
Of course, part of that can be contributed to frustration and not playing on the front foot and engaging with an opponent, a real one anyway, for the first time in a bit. The off seasons for everyone is different. Rodriguez hasn't been challenged a whole lot tonight. The header from Bryant beat him cleanly. Smith does not have the gas to get to that ball.
Too many times Alejandro Mitrano gets on the ball and he takes too many touches, slows the game down. Now you have Rodriguez in a really dangerous opportunity, and all he needs to do is clear it.
A couple more changes for Danny Dicchio. Danny Dicchio, 4 changes now for him. Just saw Connor Rutz come in on the affair. Connor been with the organization for a handful of years now. Came to Detroit back in 2020. So one can say he's the elder statesman of the group. Bent, who had it for a moment. Vasquez here. 77th minute. Looks like we're going to have another yellow card here. Yeah, that's exactly the case. Hiding away for a brief moment was our the official. That's Nichols. Ricketts picks up yellow here in the 77th minute. Well, the offense still a question mark for Miami. The defense has been clean for the most part, outside of the 1 goal they conceded, but it's on a set piece.
He's provided a little bit of a spark here, Rivera, since coming on, just with his pure willingness to run down balls, take a little bit of contact, and wins a really dangerous set piece. As Vasquez stands over, an in-swinger can cause some issues here for Saldana.
Play was so harmless. Let's see if it materializes in anything. Vasquez, oh, ricochets just close to that goal, and Knutson could not believe it didn't go in. It's the closest they've been all night.
Flawless in the placement here from Vasquez. Put it right on top of that near post and ask someone to flick it on. Knutson can't react quick enough off his left shoulder. I'll tell you what, that's on target. More times than not, that's finding the back of the net.
Good effort. And a play that materialized out of nothing for Miami. Now the question is that the only opportunity they'll get the rest of the night?
Exactly what I mentioned earlier, David. You're down a goal. How effective can you be? You slow the game down, you draw fouls, and what that does, that gives you the ability just to put players in a dangerous opportunity. Put the ball in the mixer and who knows what happens.
That's their first shot in 53 minutes. Next broadcast for Miami is against Indy 11. Indy 11, a strong 20-24 campaign. Let's see if they can duplicate the feat here.
And again, it's Rivera for Miami FC causing some issues. Just awkwardly here from Wheat, the way that he goes down. Been a nice addition to that back line for Danny Dicchio. Him and Carroll, the 2 center backs.
Rodriguez coming all the way out of his net.
Follow him, Ricketts. Follow him, Ricketts.
Defensively, Miami FC has not been broken down. So I can imagine watching this match on tape during training sessions. They'll have to be encouraged by a lot of the effort.
They've been quite good on the defensive side of the ball. Difficult to break down. Yes, you can see the goal on a corner, but through the run of play, they've been stingy, they've been compact. So there is a lot to take through the first 81 minutes here if you are Gaston Madoni.
I think the other element is they haven't looked lost. Last year there was moments that they were lost for long sequences and they could never recover. And it usually didn't result in conceding a goal. It was usually a flurry of goals, 2, 3, or 4. It was a barrage. I remember a handful of occasions they'd go into the second half tied or down a goal, and then all of a sudden they concede 3 or 4 more, and before you know it, a 1-1 match turns into a 5-1 drubbing. But conversely for Detroit, they've been clinical and patient. Minimal chances tonight, and they made the most of one. And oftentimes, that's all you need. Shots right now favoring Detroit 4-3. Each team still with a couple on target. Possession, as you'd imagine, up a player. Detroit comfortably in control. 66% to 34. Rutz, middle of the pitch, Knutson smells that out. But another turnover here for Detroit. Been quick to move towards target. I think a lot of that has to do with Miami's ability to at least recover defensively. There haven't been sizable gaps here tonight on their back line. Quick turnover and a takeaway here. Rodriguez vacates his net again. He's left all alone. He does recover. Rutz with it. Top of the box, and things settle down for a moment. Some pretty good contact on that far side. Matrona not called for it.
Just a bit too casual here for Knutson. You turn the ball over, but you have to give credit to Felipe Rodriguez. Notice how big he makes himself and how quickly he comes off of his line. There's only one opportunity and one place that Diop can put this ball back across. Now you're just hoping that your teammates have the extra effort to close down. Akinyori does just that. Little moments like that you can really build on if you are Miami FC.
Trust factor will loom large as the season moves along.
Just that second touch from Diop gets him in trouble. If you can have it a little bit softer, now you have two options. You can either play it across, but you can go on yourself as well.
Mistiming of sorts. Lofted into the box. Saldana came all the way out for some unknown reason. It's not in a bad area now, but one has to question his judgment. Touch foul is exactly the case. Varane with it. Varane entered just about 15 minutes ago.
Just mentioned the lack of a secondary touch from Diop. This one is to perfection. Notice how he goes across the grain right in front of Varane, making the opponent make a decision. Do you let him run free? If you try to make a play on the ball, you're going to get contact, and he's going to go down.
An Argentinian, first year with Miami FC. Detroit with the advantage, scoring in the 31st minute. Check and see as this clock begins to tick towards full time how much stoppage time we'll have. Donor softly to Rutz. Tez out wide. Again, Williams the cross. Rodriguez, 2 hands on it. He can't collect the second one. Rutz bangs it home. There's the insurance marker in the 87th minute, and that'll be a wrap for Detroit in clinical fashion here tonight. They're up 2-0. Nothing Rodriguez can do about this, Ricky. But the cleanup, though, right down the middle of the pipe, and Rutz was there jolly on the spot.
Since coming onto this pitch, Youth has been fantastic with the spaces that he picks up, and notice the pace that he goes at. What that does, that pulls in Ricketts and opens up Reese Williams and acres of space. You put the ball in a dangerous area, you will get rewarded. Felipe Rodriguez, the goalkeeper, is going to want it back. If you can get contact on it, you have to push it away from your goal mouth. You spill it in a central location. Connor Rutz does what an attacking player should do. Follow up the play. Easy goal for Detroit City, and they double up their lead.
And tap-in goal for him. And quick transition, Matt Sheldon coming into the contest. And transition game from Detroit, and frankly, that was what they were looking for this entire second half. Eventually, it was going to occur. It was just a matter if they'd cash in on it or not. And they did. So Rutz on the board for the first time in a brand new season. And now the only question is, will Saldana capture a clean sheet in his first match with Detroit here in 2025? Couple shots have come his way, but not with heavy velocity. A decent look by Knudsen off of a header roughly about 5 minutes ago. It was the only major threat for Miami since the 8-minute mark. But Miami's put themselves in this position, down a player and now chasing. Ricky, as this season does unfold, any clubs that are high on your list?
You have to look at what New Mexico has been able to do in the offseason. Sacramento Republic as well. In the Eastern Conference, Cal Jennings going to Charleston Battery. That raised a lot of eyebrows. Let's see what Lou City's been able to do. Really interesting to see how 2025 is going to play out.
Yeah, Dennis Sanchez leaving Las Vegas. That was a surprise. 90th minute. We have 5 minutes of stoppage time. Detroit trying to get back to where they were last year, at least bare minimum finished in third in the Eastern Conference. Miami unable to score 2 straight. The first time they have lost a season opener in 4 years. Keep in mind they did win their season opener last year. That was one of 3 victories. Decent activity here, but Vasquez grabbing that ankle. I don't know if he actually, I don't know if he rolled it, but it's an uncomfortable feeling to look at for him. Conclusion of this contest, we'll also have our man of the match, presented by Cricket Wireless. Reds with the insurance marker late here in the second half. Bryant in the first half, what would be the game-winning goal in the 31st minute. See if Detroit tries to pour it on. They're about as methodical of a team could be here in the second half. They were given a couple opportunities to score and jumped on one of them.
Been really professional from Detroit City. Yes, you can look at the box score and say they've been up a man for a majority of this game, but it's really difficult to break down a team that sits into a mid to low block. They didn't get complacent. They kept up their game tempo. The game speed was quite good with Danny Dicchio. You get Connor Rutz on the goal scoring sheet. He can be a difference maker. Michael Bryant was fantastic in the back as well. On the road, first game of the season. I'll be quite pleased if you are Danny Dicchio.
Makes for a comfortable flight home and lots of things to be happy about. The one question will be how good the defense is this season. Weren't really tested tonight, given the fact they were up a player. But the fans who made the trek from Michigan were pleased to their satisfaction, making the trip, seeing a couple goals. Both of them on nice sequences, one a corner kick and another in transition. But they did the damage a couple different ways. They were rewarded. And for Miami, back to the drawing board and for a new technical staff, new personnel. This might take a while. For Miami, 6 yellow cards on the night, 1 red. It's an expensive evening at the office. And it is only match number 1. But it will go to Detroit. They were the better team here tonight. Better precision, better tactically, fundamentally sound. And they are victorious. They captured 3 points on the road. And now they've taken 4 straight for Miami FC, winning the season opener on the road by a final score of 2-0. Goal makers in this one, Bryant and Rutz doing the damage here on a Saturday night, just beginning off in the month of March. Donor, a brief impact. Take a quick look at Blue Akinyoti. Cole was pretty sharp in the match, and because of that, we're going to name him our player of the match, presented by Cricket Wireless. Ricky, your thoughts?
Had a lot to do with Bolo Akanyoti, but he really tough in his 50-50 duels, and he's going to be a leader for Miami FC. They need him to be really good as a center back this season.
At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, you don't have to be a pro athlete to be treated like one. We use the latest techniques to give you an accurate diagnosis, along with surgical and non-surgical solutions, no matter who you are. Our team of specialists will do everything to help you perform at your best again. And with personalized recovery and rehabilitation plans, you'll be back to living your life to the fullest in no time. Welcome to Pro-Level Orthopedic Care.
Doral Kia is loaded with over 500 new Kia models in stock now. Test drive a new 25 Kia Sportage today. Doral Kia. Drive for less. Drive Doral.
Back here, post-game show. Kia Doral post-game show. Seeing Detroit City triumphant on the night against Miami FC. Final score is 2-0. Michael Bryant doing the early damage in this one. Things done. Now we get to dip into the highlights of this contest, Ricky. Full-time highlights, it was mostly Detroit, a little bit of Miami early on, but fortunately they just couldn't capitalize.
Set pieces are a fantastic way to open up the goal-scoring account if you are a visiting side. Exactly what Michael Bryant does. He gets goal side of his individual marker. Good ball in from Jasil Cedeno, and Michael Bryant just gets on the end of it, but this is where the game changed completely. Looked at the secondary action from the Miami FC player. Doesn't get the initial ball, but it's the frustration from the young man that catches Michael Bryant. Bonfilio, he gets an early shower, so now Miami FC is going to be down to 10 men. Gaps are going to start to open up, and this is where you want Daniel running downhill. Now look at the options for Detroit City. But if you are Danny Dicchio, Ben Morris needs to be more active in the box. He needs to slash across that near post, because if he does, that's a goal-scoring opportunity. You take a deeper opportunity in set pieces. When you're down a man, you get your big bodies forward. You cause a little bit of chaos. Knutson cannot react quick enough. Goes wide of that near post. And the game changed when Diouf came into this game, because he was doing everything at tempo. Look how quickly he gets the ball out of his body. And what he does, Ricketts is engaged. That leaves Reese Williams wide. And Felipe Rodriguez, you need